All right, let's get ready to rip. When you go to a tracker facility, it's not about the money in the track. It's about the people. Guys, I don't give a shit about anything but making this hobby better. You don't have to put them into a late model right out of the hit. Put them in a slash. Let them bang around on the bathtubs. As always, this is how it works. New, old, and in between. You drive what we do. You tell us what you want to talk about. We talk about it. You hit it in the comments. You put it in the comments. As soon as it comes up in the comments, as I'm reading stuff, if I get done talking about something, we put it right back in there, okay? We'll talk about your comments. So, we are just a good group of guys trying to make it better. No matter how you look at it, it's my opinion. And you have yours, and your opinion can be voiced right here. You put it in the comments. I'll read your comments. We'll talk about it. Dave Brinkman, RC Underground Radio, was good enough to pick me up as one of the spots. There's 4 others that are smoking it too. I think Honcho's trying to get on here tonight. If he doesn't, he is. Is he on?
He's trying to.
Yeah. I just added him to the group. So Honcho's doing his deal down in the Decatur, Illinois area. They're doing one in Rockford. And then we got an off-road guy. The drift guys are doing it over there. I'm ready. Make sure you check out the RC Underground YouTube page. There's a ton of stuff coming out. So make sure you jump on there. I'll be sharing it all the time, just like I always do. You drive it. So you comment, we talk. We have a topic. We're going to run through that topic. And then we're going to pull it. And then it's all up to you guys. Okay? It gets fun. It gets interesting. The more you interact with me, the more we get rolling. Okay? The more I get rolling, the longer it lasts. The longer it lasts, the more comments come in. It's a revolving door. Okay? Starting it off like always, we're going to talk about tracks that were out there. Guys, we race this weekend. We open on Friday. Our Freedom Fridays have slowed way down, which is fine. We had a couple guys that wanted to test for BB mods and break in tires for BB mods. Prince Racing, Purple, he came out and just ran his. Actually got a lot of good help. And from another racer, Nick Henderson was out to break in tires, and he helped Anthony and Jesse both to get better with the late model. So I commend those guys. That's a good group of guys that will normally help anybody that needs help. And there's a ton on here that will. I'm not saying anybody. I'm not singling out anybody. But Nick's willing to help. I know Matt's willing to help. Jason's willing to help. There's a ton of us. You get into the slashes. Jeremy and Scuba are 2 guys that are really good with a slash. They can help you out. Just message them, but don't blow their shit up. Try to work on it yourself a little bit too, no matter who you are or what group you're in. Try to work on your own shit some, but then whenever you can't or you need help, jump in. Somebody will help you out. Guys, as you get in here into the chat tonight, jump in, tell me you're here. If you're new here, tell me where you're from. We had 4 races this week that were on my radar. Like, I watch a lot of other races. I watch a lot of stuff on Live RC. Here's where I go. Jacksonville, I was down there last week. They had a really, really good turnout. This week they had a club race. 14 drivers, 29 entries. Nice little club race. I would enjoy that also, even though it's not the biggest race. 5-star had a really good turnout. 55 drivers, 102 entries. Matt's in here. I think he was over there from what I read. And then Brad had his race, 53 entries, 112 entries, 53 drivers. I'm sorry, 112 entries. So Brad had a really good turnout, and I'm glad he's there. What's up, Terry? Crater's my home track. He said he's new here. Most of the people know me as Dank Paint. Hey, Terry, you're welcome, buddy, and we always like a painter. So we'll check your shit out. Always welcome. Throw in comments when I say something. You need something. You want to say something, put it out there. That's why we're here. We're going to make it better one way or another. Brad had a really good turnout, and I'm glad for him for that. I'm not saying he needed a turnout, but it's nice to see Brad at a good number. I think he had a little bit of a lower turnout in the year. He's still figuring out the track, but man, it was on point last night. I went down there after I went to Leisure Hour Hobbies High Road before that. So Leisure Hour race yesterday too, 22:45. 22 the drivers, 45 entries. We had a couple guys from here that normally race here. Scuba and Jeremy went up and raced up there. That track, guys, that track is new. It's what I would call green, but it's very manageable. Like, there's good racing on it. It's just green. My track was the same way, guys. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm no professional. By any means am I a professional. But I've tried shit and it didn't work, and I tried something else and it worked. So that's the same thing I can say to anybody starting this deal. Try stuff, see what works, what doesn't work. Everybody's dirt's different. Continue that. It'll be fine. What's up, Tommy? Tommy out of Lockport. He runs up a high road a bunch. He's been down here one time, I believe, to race the first race of the season. But a really good track, guys. I got to thank Dwayne and Brian both, Andrew, all the guys that know me up there. But thank you guys for the hospitality, guys. I came in. I'm a nobody. I just do what I do and speak my mind. We had some pretty good conversations, watched some good racing. I left after the first heat, just because I wanted to get down to Brad's also. But I think it's good racing. I think if the track's going to be pretty quick, I think it's going to be a good track. It just takes time. Don't underestimate it, right? Don't think that a new track is a horrible track, guys. I had that for a long time. I think guys were afraid to come out. We were really, what's up, Mark Larson? I seen you yesterday up there at High Road. I had that for the first 2 years, or 3 years, really, 2 to 3 years before we started racing big races. But I started really, really slow. I had a lot of local guys, and then we started building from there. So, what's up, Tom? I seen you yesterday too. Get up there. We need to get you out here too. So, but yeah, that's the way it is. High Road's a good track, guys. I think it'll be good. What's up, JJ? I think it'll be a good track. I think it just has to grow and get more into it. They'll be fine. Just, if you go up and race, remember, it's green. It's green. Everybody's learning. No offense to anybody. It's just what it is. Guys, it takes time. It takes time to build a track, and it takes time to make a track good and great. That track's good. It's working for great. Don't feel bad. You'll be okay. Just keep working on it. What's up, Scuba? Let's see. We're down there. We got through Brad's. Brad's turned out great turnout. Brad had a really good turnout on his race, which, like I said, I'm glad for. The lower classes, in my opinion, were a little rough, but the mod guys, they showed up and showed out like always. Brad put on a really good show again, as normal. So, all the GFRP guys were there. It was a really, in my opinion, it was a pretty stacked field, especially on the mod side. They were in the D mains on most classes, C's and some, but some of the lower stuff got a little rough. But that's kind of be expected. I mean, the drivers aren't as talented, and sometimes they outdrive their ability without even knowing it, or they outmotor their ability. That happens at every track. You just have to try to keep it to a minimum and keep guys interested and keep them rolling. So, on a little bit lower, more somber note, guys, I don't know this man personally. I've never met him. But I followed his journey for the last few years via Facebook. And from the amount of people that have come out and shown respect and shown whatever you want to call it, the love for this man, I feel like we lost a great one in the hobby this week. Howard Howie Young out of the Ultimate RC Pit Stop out of Pennsylvania. Man, that, like I say, I never met the man. I wish I would have. From what the guys that are there and talking about, it seems like he was a good one. And we lost him this week. They are going to continue, so they have a good enough crew at their track. They are going to continue their deal. So they're going to continue to race. They're going to continue their series as planned. So Joe says, I ran an Ultimate RC Midget at PT's last winter. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the man, but like I said, I just see what I see, and it seems like there's a loss there. On that same note, since we're talking about losses, I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Backyard's done after August 9th. I think Matt alluded to it last week, but Backyard is running their last race. The last time you get to run at Backyard, August the 9th. So if you have a car that fits the rules, go to Backyard. Go to Backyard and get in on that deal. That is going to be a good race. There's going to be a lot of people there, guys. I assume it's going to be Crown Jewel-ish, where there's not a lot of room there, guys, for trailers. There's a lot of tents. So I don't know how he's doing it. I haven't talked to Tony. We talk about Tony a lot on here. Just because of Tony's involvement in the Elite RC, or the Elite series, and he founded it, got it going, and turned it over this year, which is fine, but Tony does a great job at what he does, and I feel like you probably need to show up if you want to race that track, because I don't think he's coming back. And that's not a good thing for the hobby, guys. One, a guy like that stepping away, and two, losing a track like that. Reality of it is Backyard is my competitor-ish. I don't want to say I'm anywhere near him or his track as far as a promoter or a track. He's had his track longer, ran more races, far better promoter than I am, but it's a loss. Tony did a shit ton for the hobby, and evidently he's getting out of it. So that will be a great race, and it will be packed. Anybody got anything for me on any of that? Jump in the comments. Come on, guys. Don't get shy now. We will be running the Kempton Days 125 this Sunday at our track. Track opens at 2. Drivers meeting will be 5-ish. National anthem to follow that, and racing at 5:30. So 2 o'clock, we're going to open up for the 125. So make sure you guys get out here. Should be a pretty good turnout. Those of you that don't want to go to the Elite race in Layton. So they're racing over in Iowa. They stacked us again, but that's all right. So, all right. Moving on. We're going to jump in quick here to this subject. Oh, let me go on here. We're getting in here quick. All right. Guys, this is going to be a testy situation. This is going to be a touchy subject. Mama's on here Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry, Saturday. I'm sorry, it's Saturday. The 12th. Thanks, Jason. The 12th. Saturday the 12th we'll be here. Okay. Yes, Boudreaux, I said Sunday, but it is Saturday. I'm sorry. It is Saturday. Saturday the 12th. Sorry, guys. Guys, this subject is a little bit touchy. Not in a negative way, but in a way we need to talk about it. And I don't even know what to call it, so I'm kind of at odds here. I don't know if I call it track owner to racer relationship, respect, whatever you call it. So however the track owner and the racer communicate. We'll put it that way. Guys, you got to remember first and foremost, when you come to an RC, dirt oval, off-road, on-road, I hear a carpeted 23-degree banked carpeted oval at Thunderdome this year maybe. Wherever you're going, to race. We're racing toy cars to have fun, and you're going to get a picture taken, maybe a trophy, maybe a sticker. That's what we're doing. Timmy says, I plan on coming on Saturday with the High Road guys to race. I had some good racing with the Kempton guys at High Road yesterday. Agreed, Timmy. I think it was too. I was up there, like I said, for the first heat. I think you guys had really good racing. And we'll continue that down here. Let's just, work hard and play hard, and we'll do it. Brett Finkel says, toy cars for stickers. 100%, Brett. So, Mama says maybe a high five. I don't know where that's at. But, all right. Oh, you mean as a trophy, a high five for a good job? Okay, yeah, and that's true too. I mean, you're not doing anything, guys. We're out here having a great time. We call our Fridays Freedom Friday because it's a freedom from getting away from your job, your BS. Matt Riker says, don't be a Karen. True, don't. But also, be respectful to each other, be respectful to the track, right? Sorry, baby, it's been a long day. We've been on the road all day. So here's where it is. Track owners and racers do not have to be best of friends to make a great show. They just have to be respectful, right? Like, I don't have to be your friend when you come to the track, but there's been a few, but very few that I don't go speak to when you come to my track at least the first time. If you're very antisocial, I'm okay with that. But there's an opportunity for somebody to come talk to you. It'll probably happen, okay? Usually myself. With that being said, I might not be your best friend, but I respect you as a racer. And we'll talk about those points from my point of view as a track owner, and also we'll talk about the point of view I see from a track owner to a racer, because I don't race much, but I see a lot. So with that being said, make sure what's up, Tommy? With that being said, guys, when I start going through these points, make sure as racers and track owners, if track owners are on here or look at it later, obviously you can go to the RC Underground Radio YouTube page, put your comments in. There's still a spot to win the prize. We're giving away some merch, and we're giving away a toolkit for just commenting. It's about the people, not about the money. On the RC Underground YouTube page, you have to comment in that. These two episodes, last episode and this episode. Go on and do it. Right now, jump in the comments and tell me what you think as a racer or track owner's point of view as I go through these. First one, we're going to talk about rules. Guys, you guys know about, cat problems. It's okay. As you guys know, we talk about rules a lot. And the reason for that is because rules are rules. Unless you're running mod, there's always going to be rules issues. Even with mod, sometimes I think there's some, but they're a lot less. So therefore, we don't have that problem as much. He jumped on the laptop. I had to get him off. There are currently different rules depending on what track you go to. There's nothing we can do about that, right? Tommy says, we do this for fun, respect each other, and track 100%. That's what you should be doing, Tommy. So, there's nothing we can do about the difference in rules, guys. It is what it is. You have to deal with it. If you don't want to change a little bit to go to a track that doesn't have the same rule as you, then you can't race there. Or you contact the owner, right, or the track director and see how that works. I had some do that this week, and we're working with them. Make some adjustments to your car if that's where you really want to race. If you really want to race at that track, make some changes, whatever that takes. Joe says, I'm at the track just as much as for the camaraderie as the racing. Joe, that's how this track was built, 100% on camaraderie. Camaraderie and friendships you build. People come, people go, but guess what? We're all here doing it. I agree with you 100%. So some examples of that, if you need to make some adjustments on your cars. I'm not picking, I'm just saying. There's going to be a couple of tracks here because I just went through the rules to see it. BB Mods runs a 12 turn in their slash. I think they had one last night. If you don't, and this is what's happening, if you don't want to put a 12 turn in and pull your 13.5 or your BL2S out, then you don't race there. That class goes away. Or slows way down. Not a track owner's fault. Let me rephrase that. Not completely a track owner's fault. Personally, I would adjust the rules, and we did because we've seen that happening. Track started going to the 13.5, so we went to that. And then the BL2S is a factory motor in it now, so we switched to that also. So if you want that class to stay, and some might not. Hey, what's up, Mike? Some might not, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that if you want that class to stay as a track owner, then you need to change that to fit everybody else. If you don't care or you don't want it or whatever that means, then you don't have to. You just keep your class the way it is. And it slowly dwindles, and that's kind of what's happened. Brad's doing Brad's thing. I don't care. It is what it is. Do I feel like an adjustment would help? Yes. But if that's not where he is, he is. Same with Attitude. Attitude RC up in Wisconsin. They run 12 turns. They have a huge turnout because Aaron's ran it. You're hearing me talk about Aaron a lot. I like Aaron, and I like the way he runs his programs. Aaron runs his program with a 12 turn. Guess what? You're going to run a 12 turn if you want to go up there and race. It is what it is. Another one, we just looked at that. So you got to put a 12 turn in. But if we want to run a B mod up there, essentially what we have to do is put a late model body on it. When we run Attitudes, B mods will become late models, SC late models at Attitude. Two-wheel drive. So you can make some small changes. Now, I'm not saying these are the cheapest changes or the easiest changes, but a lot of guys have 8 cars, sell one, and figure it out so you can go to 3-4 tracks around you if we can't get on a rules package. Okay? And if you'd really like to race that track, you're going to do what you have to do. Right? I mean, that's just it. Anybody got anything for that? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Don't always, if you have a rules question, you can contact the race director or the owner, whoever's doing it, and whoever has that say, and say, hey, what about this? Am I legal? And they'll say yes or no, or hey, I'll get back to you. Right now, we are doing some changes to the TRX modifieds because the late models coming in. We're going to allow the late models to run with the TRX modifieds. They're the same car. They're a great entry car, in my opinion. So what we're going to let you do is, before we were completely box stock. Now the only thing we're going to let you change is the servos because they're having trouble getting servos. So we're going to open up servo. We're going to open up servo horn. And we're going to open up the bell crank. Okay? So, race director is who runs the show. Mama asked what a race director is. That would be all-encompassing with me here, but some places have an owner and a guy that runs the show. So that's your race director. So, with that being said, we're going to open that up. So there'll be a post today or tomorrow. We're going to let you change servo because you can't get them, the horn, the rack, because the bulkhead, or the bulkhead, because you can't get it in. The servo saver is the problem. Then that will be it. And you'll be able to use whatever battery and plug you want. Yeah, bell crank. Thanks, Rick. Yes, the aluminum bell crank. That's what makes the car wobble coming out of the corner or whatever. So we're going to try to get him to drive a little bit better. Don Edwards says, what if a promoter wants to use a track with their own rules? That is so, and I know where you're leading to this because Don's trying to get a series going for next year with a couple tracks. My thought on it is this. If that happens, you make that agreement with your track owner, right? Whatever that looks like. You guys work that out between the track owner and yourself. And then the day of the race, that's on you. If you came to Kempton and wanted to do it at Kempton, here's how it would happen. If we made an agreement on how that worked, that day of the race, I would run the timing system and that's it. You as the race director that day would be able to do your own. Or like Christina says, build their own track. I'm not against that either. But the Elite Series comes in, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to use your track. It's going to run their rules package. J Concepts, I don't think did. The way it looked on the rules, the J Concept race was Brad's rules still, which is fine. That's the agreement. As a race director or a promoter, you're going to be promoting that day. You're going to be promoting and you're going to be directing that day. I don't think a track owner or race director is going to run their own, or I wouldn't. That's going to be all on you to do that. Okay? So anyway, so TRX is getting some changes to make them drive better. Hopefully get more people in. I'm not saying you got to buy a $400 servo, guys. Go buy one off of Amazon for $30. It's Metal Gear. The problem is when you change the bell crank, it breaks the servo. Even when you don't change the bell crank, it breaks the servo. That's the problem. Okay? So we're going to allow that. We're going to open the batteries up too. Just because we have so many guys at other tracks that don't care what battery you run, and to let that class grow a little bit, that'll help that too. Claypool says, yep, and really fast too. I think it'll help a ton. So that's why we're going to do it. So with that being said, getting back to the point, if you have a question from a track to a track, just go to the track owner. Don't go to your buddy and ask him if he thinks you can do it, and then you show up race day and you're not legal, right? I mean, that's just not the right way to do it. So get a hold of the track owner, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you plan on getting ahead of it in these spec classes. I know Mod Guys is like, oh, we're hearing this shit again about rules. Hey, guys, it's going to benefit you guys in the end. And here's my point to that. If I put a guy that just bought a car for the first time and put him in a late model, even a crate, is too fast for a guy that's never raced before. So we're trying to build these lower classes so you guys will be able to get good racers that have been around a little while, know how to drive, know how to adjust, make them better for you guys to race them in the end, which I think the 13.5 is there. Man, JJ says 7-0 Cubs. Well, JJ, here's the problem with the Cubs-Cardinals games. You guys are going to choke in the end anyway, so it doesn't matter. Playoff time? Done. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I figure you're laughing, Scuba. Yesterday wasn't the same way. Man, no Cubs. Oh, man. Mama's Duncan, brand new Duncan Cup has a dent in it, and she swapped it for another one. So anyway, so there's that. Sorry guys, I get them squirrels running around here. We're done. So if you have a problem, voice your concern to the track owner, director, whoever that is at that time. Maybe you do it if it's race day. Maybe you do that at the end of the heat. Come to them. Maybe you do. Rick, I can't deal with you tonight. The Cardinals don't choke. Well, they do these last few years, but they've had a lot better run than them old Cubby Bears. Maybe at the end of the heat, maybe at the end of the night, depending on what happens, you know what I mean? Or prior to the race, if you know you have a question on a rule, right? Make sure you get that done. That just helps the flow so much. And guys, if a guy comes here, my saying it, you got to be slow before you. Rick, you're right. Rick says my saying is you got to be slow before you can be fast. Guys, understanding how the car works, understanding how the car is adjusted, understanding what you need to do to make it drive the way you need it to drive is huge. Being able to do that, that's huge. So just make sure that's why the lower classes need to be there, in my opinion. Like I say, I know my guys are like, damn it. But if you really sit back and think about it, guys, everybody started out somewhere. Everybody's got to learn it. Everybody gets faster as they go, and they move up. You know what I mean? So we talked about it last week. Entry level, TRX modified, and low C maybe, sprint maybe. I don't like the open wheel. Then your intermediate, buggy street stock / street stock, maybe 13.5 crate after you've been in the buggy for a little bit, and then your advanced is your mod classes. Yeah, I know shit. Christina, my wife, who's on here, Christina Rogers in the comments, she likes her slash in half speed, and you can't talk to her. Like, you can't tell her, hey, you need to lift a little earlier. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. You can't do that. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. We were all beginners once. Easy there, kid. Trace is leaving us. So, he's going back to hiding in the bedroom playing video games, probably. So that's what's up, guys. So that's where we're at on that. Just make sure that you are there, right? Rick says the same guys that complain about lower classes are the ones that complain about slower guys taking them out. 100%, Rick. 100%. That's no offense to anybody. Again, my opinion. The 13.5 crate late is one of the better classes because it helped the mod guys stay mod guys, and the entry mod guys that came out of buggy street stock, now they have somewhere to go. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. And it's not a dig on a crate late guy. If you ain't got it, who wants to race D main every weekend and you're sitting in the back and you're just taking up space? Not because you can't, it's because you don't have enough ability yet. Yes, Brian is on here, or he was. Sorry, I didn't see your comment, Scuba. So, with that being said, that's where I see it. Guys, am I 100% correct with anything? No. The name of the podcast is In My Opinion. And in my opinion, that's where we're at. Let's keep rolling here. Racers, here's one that's going to get you. Racers respect the track surface. And here's what I mean by that. Two things. When the race director says, or owner says, whoever's running the show says, don't put your car on the track, let it sit a minute because it's wet. Don't put your car on the track at all. Ours has a pit road. If not, we were up at High Road, and Brad's was the same way. Brad's, they set them down on turn 1, but High Road has an entry at 4, and that is going to be, leave them sitting right there. Don't run them out on the track and around. Ours, leave them on the pit road. Guys, we're letting the water soak a little bit so you don't track them. Okay? So you don't track the track up so bad. Also, another thing, and I was talking to some guys last night about this, and yesterday. Guys that have their cars with the body digging. You want to talk about damage to a track? That'll do it. Okay. That'll do it. It'll leave a divot in the track. And the force of the cars, you guys, if you had any idea of how much dirt we lose every year off a track and how much packing that track does with those little cars on there is amazing. You would not understand how much different the packing of the track is by just cars on it. One good way to tell is get out on a track that you race all the time. Go out there when the track owner has it prepped, and you got 4 guys out there. When you got 4 guys out running, and you have a half an hour's worth of practice in, and then go out on a race night when you have 40 guys or 50 guys out there racing, and you do 30 minutes of practice, and see what the difference is. Ryan says body chop ruins the track for the entire day. A 90-mile-an-hour shovel. Agreed, Ryan. We were talking about it last night. 100%. Guys, it's just cutting the track. So if your body, and don't tell me I don't know, if your body's rubbing, pull it, raise the body up. Cut the body. I know Jeremy had to cut his yesterday. Okay? If it's rubbing, cut the body. It doesn't hurt anything for you. If you have to raise the post, put it in your cheat sheet we talked about a month ago. I raised the body on 7.5, had to raise the body 2 holes, put it back down where it was whenever you go to a different track. If a track has a bump in 3, if a track has a bump somewhere and it keeps on digging, figure it out. Change it. You're going to hurt the track for somebody else. Guys, that divot, when you run over it, it becomes a hole or it becomes a bump, not a divot. The cars will actually push that dirt and smash it into the hole, and then you got a divot there it becomes a bump. And then you get 20 buggy street stocks running on it, and they're so low anyway and so hard, then they're really digging it in, or you get a slash out there that's 800 pounds or a low-C sprint car that's 350 pounds. They're going to dig that hole. You dig the hole every time, it ruins the track. Ryan's 100% correct. A lot of race directors don't call you out on it because they don't want to piss you off and make you mad where you don't come back. I understand that. A lot of race directors, a lot of racetracks, they have to keep their overhead down, right? They're trying to make money or at least break even on it. With that being said, when you do that, guess what? You cause them more work. The guy doesn't want to tell you about it. Paul says 800 pounds, that's diabolical. Christina says, then your track owner has to fix it after working all day. Guys, you don't even know how much work it is. 90 mile an hour, wow, I'm lucky if I hit 45, lol. Guys, if you've never worked a track before, and I know there's a few guys on here that have worked a lot of them, built them from the ground up, or just helped with them, the amount of work to get a track flat, smooth, ready to race, is astronomical. As a track owner, I love doing it. Does it take time away from my family and other things? 100%. I will tear the track up tomorrow night, probably. Let it breathe all till Wednesday. Start watering the shit out of it and water it all the way till Saturday when we race and pack it in. So, no, it does not track speed. So, Paul asked, does a lap counter track speed? Mine does not. You can set it up, I believe, to do it, but I don't have it set up. So, make sure you guys take care of that. Make sure your bodies are not digging in. If they're digging in, somebody yells at you, don't get pissed. You know it. You shouldn't do it. Right? It ain't worth it. Let's see where we're at here. I said track prep and race prep is very consuming. We understand that. For both sides. From a racer side and a track owner side. Now let's go to the other side of it, on the racer side. Weasel says, a body hitting the track slows your car and affects the handling. Why would anyone leave your car like that? And Paul says it slows you down anyways. 100%, guys. But I tell you what, I was at PT's a year ago or a year and a half ago, and Paul and Tom are down there yelling at people to pull them because they're just letting them drag through the corners. It happens everywhere, and I think there's a lot of guys that have been to a lot of tracks understand that. If you have a dip or you have a bump in the track, it makes it worse. But the guy has to adjust for that. You're not going to get out of it. And if you have a bump in the track, it happens to every track at some point. The best tracks have a bump that develops. If that happens, you got to raise it a little bit to get that to quit. If you continue to hit the same hole that is a bump now, you're just making that hole bigger. And it's going to get the bump worse. Raise your body. Track owners. I don't know if any are on here, but I'm going to say from my point of view. From my point of view as a track owner, I believe this 100%. If I didn't have you guys coming out here on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays, whenever we do it, I got a hole in the ground that would make a pretty big koi pond or something. Right? All I have is a hole in the ground. If I don't have anybody to race on it. Now, I'm not saying we're going to bend over backwards and do whatever for a racer. Make it whatever rules, open everything up so you guys can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, as a track owner, you have to remember, racers are why we're here. Second one, track owners, we have to stay open-minded. That's with a lot of things. That's with rules. That's with cars coming out. That's with ideas of how to change the existing stuff. That's how you have to do it. Right? You have to be open-minded on how to do things, right? And with that being said, that's why we're playing with the TRX. It's so new, not a lot of tracks are running it. We're trying to get a few tracks on board so new people can come in. At some point, we're going to get too old, we can't see shit, and we can't keep up with the turn to run mod. So you're going to back down to 13.5, and then everybody's going to bitch at you because you're puppy kicking. We stay open-minded where we can get the rules better. We can see how that works, make the right things happen, right? So, open-mindedness for a track owner. Make sure you're there. Track owners, remember that you are not the only ones that work hard to get ready for a race. I don't know if it does or not. TRX is welcome at Jake's and sportsman class. Okay? Joe says. Mama says, does that car come in gray mode? I don't know if it does or not, but I'm sure you can turn those down. If you want to get one and run, I'll be more than happy to pick you one up. Guys, you got to remember that we, as a track owner, yes, we bust our butt out here, but I know two guys this week right now that are ordering parts and fixing everything that got tore up this weekend. I mean, and I know two of them personally and pretty well. They got their shit destroyed this weekend. So, and they're in lower classes. Doesn't matter. But guess what? Now they're spending money out of their pocket. As a track owner, I have to look at that. I have to remember that I'm not the only one doing this shit. So, Scuba owns one. That's how he knows. He said he thinks there's a granny mode. Ryan says, everyone in our group will loan scissors, help someone who's learning adjust their post height, or give out bump stops. Makes it better for everyone. Just ask. There's help from guys at every track. 100% Ryan. I believe that. Guys, me and Ryan seem to show up at the same places, whether that's whatever, and we talk a lot. One thing about it is this. That table with 6 or 7 guys running mods, that table might be very, very intimidating. Just go talk to them. Say, hey man, I'm not going to, I can't get around. What can you give me something? Can you give me an idea? Guys, they're not going to fix your shit for you. That's not their problem. What they're going to do is they're going to give you an idea. They're going to give you some stuff to do this, right? To give you a direction and give you some knowledge. Watch them. See how it's done. Understand it more, right? Purple had a diff issue, and Nick Henderson was here to help him this weekend the same way. You know, just ask. Nick was more than happy to help. And I believe 100% that Ryan and Tyler and the Howards, I think all those guys would help. And I'm leaving people out. I'm not saying anything different. I'm just saying, when you look at that group of guys, and I was there, guys. I used to go to BB Mods, and I was like, oh, man, these guys up here in the front got all this mod shit. There ain't no way. They're out of my league. Once you start getting around more, hanging out, running, figuring it out, go talk to them. Figure it out. Now, first day, you're there one day and not back the rest of the season, that might be a little bit different. But I think if a guy sees you trying, I think they're going to get that done. So, let me get some comments here real quick. We're going to have to shut down the other half of this feed, but we'll be on here still, guys. I just got to shut it down for the RC Underground side. It was 2 hours last time. Any of you guys listen to it? Matt says, I'm building a new 13.5 Sprint for my son while watching this. Matt, that's cool, and I hope it's not on clown tires. Although you got to run them some places. Scuba says, I'll even help the guy that wrecked my shit. Yeah. Scuba's been the hotline today. Terry says, I'm rebuilding my cars after racing a 5-star yesterday while I watch. Guys, I tell you what, I'm glad you guys are doing that. I'm glad you guys are on here. I'm glad you guys are working on your stuff, because it takes that. We all know it. Don says, I heard a rumor over the weekend that PTs is having a midget race for 5K. Any truth to that? I don't know, Don. I seen Paul and Tom were down at Brad's this weekend, but I didn't talk to them about it. I would contact them. They're not. I don't think they're on here. Let's see what else we got. So like I said, guys, I understand you guys are fixing your stuff right now, and as a track owner, I'm on here, not out of the track, but I'll be out there all week, right? So with that being said, and you got to have a life. Don't get me wrong. But you have to be able to figure that out. Know that the guy that is racing is working just as hard as you are to make a valiant effort. Unless there's one guy that doesn't fix his shit ever until he gets to the track. And if you know who he is, you know who he is. He'll never hear this because he's probably doing something right now and he doesn't own earbuds to listen to it while he works at his own, he owns his own business. And also, guys, another thing a track owner has to think about. Guys, on a Saturday, we're racing. Now, I have to get up early and water the track and get things ready and do my side of this thing. Scuba knows. So, I have to do all that. But you know what I don't have to do? I don't have to pack up half my shop, throw it in a truck, throw a pop-up in it, jump in the truck, drive 3 hours to a track, set up all my shit, get beat in a D main, pack all my shit back up, and go back home in 3 hours. As a track owner, you have to think about that. So as a track owner, you're whining because of this or that or whatever. These guys are driving to your track. If you've never been to Kempton, you have to want to get here. There's no other way of looking at it. You have to want to be here. Oh, yeah, and Scooter says, unpack when you get home. 100%, guys. I understand that. I understand that completely. And, I'm gonna pick on Backyard a little bit, but it's not a pick on. Backyard, you had to run tents only because you didn't have room for anything else with a big race. Guys, we might be in that situation at some time. I feel like at this track, I could get 100 to 150 drivers in here. But the problem is, I'm not going to get many trailers. Because I don't have room for them. Okay? But I have room for tons of pop-ups. Alright? But, I'll make room for as many as I can, but it's going to be first come, first serve. But the other side of it is, if you put everybody on a pop-up, it is what it is. Sometimes you have to do that. Rick Taylor says, I drove 5.5 hours to race a track because it was rainy in Iowa. What's up, Butch? Agreed. That's what I'm saying, guys. As track owners, we have to realize these guys are packing up their shit. They're leaving their family for the whole day. They're going to get at the track 2 o'clock. They're going to get home at 2 in the morning. What do we look like? We're sitting here. I'm going to go in. Everybody leaves. I'm going to sit out here for half an hour and chill out. I'm going to go in the house. So that's just another side of it, guys. I just want to bring that to light. I'm gonna get ready to shut down the RC Underground radio side of it, just because we only want about an hour on that, because 2 hours is a lot. Guys, make sure you go over and check that out. Here's what we're gonna do. We're still doing the same thing. Is we are going to put. It's not about the money, or it's about the people, not about the money. Okay? That is the phrase you have to put in on the RC Underground YouTube page. That's going to get you entered. We're going to enter them in, and we're going to give away some merch from here and some tools. Okay? Just something just for you guys going over and doing it, putting in the comments. Okay? Those of you that are live right now, you have the advantage of knowing that. You can go put it in without watching because you're watching now. Those that watch it on the RC Underground that are not known to Kempton Speedway, which we're getting more, guys. We're at over 800. And we're looking for 1,000. So share whatever you can. Tell people about it. You can't share off the page because it's private. There's reasons for that. But tell them about it. Screenshot it. Send it to them. Get that number up. We'll do something when we hit 1,000. Promise you. So, it's about the people, not about the money. 100%. JB, I'm ready. Come on up. Let's go. Yes, Brian, bring mod cars. I don't know. Guys, 4 will run. If you guys can get 4, we'll run them. So just let me know. Let me shut this other half down, guys, and I'll be right back up here. Hold, please. All right. Back in business. That easy. That easy. Yeah, guys, I'd like to see it. We had the Mod Lakes out here. It was good. I'd like to see some sprints and see how they do. A lot of guys, anybody that's not going to Layton for the big race over there, the Elite Series, make sure you stop by. We'll be here racing. So, see how you like a hairpin. Okay. Yeah, JB, whatever. We'll work with it. Super dry in the day. Comes around at night. JB, first trip down here. So, or up here, over here for you, over and up. So, but that'll be good. I'd like to see how it works, and more the merrier. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always up for every class, seeing where we're at. But the same stuff happens, you know. You get it takes a while for a track to grow into that. You know what I mean? Even if you have some guys that run mod at your track, it helps. We don't. Guys, my track kind of started off in a different, not really different, probably like everybody's does, but it started off as just a home-built track from nowhere, and the kids are going to run on it. We turn it into it. It starts, some of the guys on here right now were the original ones that come out and tell me you're dumb and do it this way. So, let's see what we got here. Rick says, Layton is a fun little paperclip track. Rob does a great job of staying on top of the track. Yeah, I need to get over there. I haven't been there. Terry said Kempton is in Illinois. This year was my first annual Michigan. Damn it. Hold, please. First, Michigan, Indiana. The Crater Oval and 5-star, we were wanting to add more states, so I'm officially calling out Illinois to join the series. Yes. We'll see what happens with that. Guys, I think I don't know what I'm going to do for series. We've talked about series. Honestly, me and Brian have talked about series for High Road. I'm not doing any this year. But 2026, I'm open to see what happens. So, JB says he's bringing a street stock also, just in case. Sounds great. JB says facts. BB Mods only runs 13.5 until he moved to the country, and probably size the current. Yeah, so I heard that. I was never around for that, but I heard that was a true bull ring. Oh. And a box going to Cali. Wow. Whew. California, hey. Yeah, it'll be good, guys. I mean, I think that's going to be, I think a track grows really easy when you open-minded and take care of people. It's a road. Like, guys, I didn't know nothing. So when I get on this deal and I don't know anything, I'm a zero because I just know what I've done. So we're really happy that it is what it is, and we continue to work on our program, and I think everybody will do that. Mark says it'd be awesome to run a 3-day track, 3 tracks in 3 days, a little hell tour for RC cars. So Brad runs one currently. Usually it's Cedar Bluff, BB Mods, and Farmer City. And I would think I would like to do the same thing. It'd be a long weekend deal. We just have to have enough committed, and not on top of Brad. I don't want to be on top of Brad for anything like that. JB says smaller tracks make slash and cheaper cars more fun and brings new people on. 100%. It does. It really does help. I think the intimidation factor is weird. You know what I mean? Like, you get to a big track and all the mod guys, I just wish, I love my location, but if I were different location, this smaller track, I think it would help me more. It's just hard to get people here. Labor Day weekend. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Labor Day's a pretty prestigious time for me, so I don't know if I'll, but that's another problem we run into is, what 3-day are you going to get? When are you going to get guys to be able to do a 3-dayer? Ryan says, JB is another guy that put his broke car down and help fix another one at the track, then go back to fixing his. I would agree with that, Ryan. I'm telling you guys, everybody thinks it's not that way, but everybody thinks everybody's a dickhead and all they want to do is beat you. I'm telling you, there's 90% of the racers out there will say, I just want a good race. I don't want to beat you by bullshit. I don't want your shit broke. I don't want you to not be able to get around. I want you to make it a race because I want to race for the race, not door-to-door action, not 25 laps up. You're racing for nothing. Even if you get a trophy, you're still racing for nothing. Nobody's getting a big payday. Nobody's making buku money out of this deal. I don't have a clue what a sponsored driver, I don't know how that works at all, don't care. But they're not making buku bucks off of it. So it's just whatever. Just enjoy the racing. And if that guy, I promise you, 90% of them will help you. If they don't want to help you, they're a dick. I'm not saying that as, we'll put JB on the spot. Glad you're on here, JB. JB is asshole deep in his car, and you come over there, and you're like, fix this. I tell you to pound sand too. The reality of it is you got to read the room. TJ says it all the time. Got to read the room. Go to that guy and say, hey, man, when you get a minute, I got popsicles, Rick. I don't think I ate them all. When that guy's done with his car, then you go to him. His shit ain't broke. It's no different than a Marshall. You yelling at a Marshall because a Marshall didn't flip your car fast enough? He didn't put you there. The guy that's willing to help you didn't put you there. Your shit's broke and you don't know how to fix it. Take it home and figure it out or wait for the guy. I get kind of aggravated with that because I see a lot of guys talking shit about people that, oh, well, I brought in my car and he's pushing. Or I brought in my car, I broke this, and I don't know how to adjust it, but he should tell me. Well, he can in his own time, or you can try shit just like I do as a track owner and see what works. That's the best thing to do. All around. We have a really good group of guys here. And it's noticed by others that there is a good group at Kempton. And we all help each other no matter what, in my opinion. If a guy needs help, a guy will help him. If a guy comes off the track and says, my shit's pushing, what do you think I should do? Well, here's what I would try, right? Or, hey, this thing sounds like shit. What do you think? This thing's loose in the corner. What should I do? There's so many things. JB says a lot of us look like we have resting bitch face, but I promise we don't. I try to always be approachable no matter what. And Rick says you learn by trial and error. 100%, guys. So much of that. And I'm telling you, JB, you were one of them. I'm not going to... Two guys on here tonight bullshitting right now is Ryan and JB, and they were both, when I first went to BB Mods in a mini mod, because that's all I had. I didn't know anything else. I'm a big dumb hick over here in Kempton, 30 miles from them or whatever it is. And I didn't know no difference. So I'm like, this guy, look at these guys. Look at the shit they got. And I got some LC that's amazing and fun to drive. But, you know, I was like, holy shit. What are we doing with this? You know what I mean? And I didn't think they would know or care to know about an LC car. I wasn't about that. But you watch how they do it, and you watch the interaction. You know what I mean? You'll see the guys at the top. You see the guys that run in the A mains all the time. You know what I mean? Go talk to them when they're not busy. What kind of popsicles? I don't... Oh. We're out, I think, Mama, but I think she's trying to bribe you, Rick. Scuba says truth, which we're pretty much... Rick Rick wants the great ones. We can handle that. And one of the biggest, Rick says, one of the biggest things is what works for them may not for you. That's 100% too. Butch says you have to take the info from others and see what works. Guys, it's no different. Ryan says, Butch let me drive his Mini and those things are fun. And he's glad for the offer. Man, I'm telling you, they are a blast, and we're about to make them even looser. So I think we're going to put coupe bodies on them, like this one. This is a mini mod with a coupe body on it, guys. Or a sedan. I think we might switch. We might, if that mini mod keeps doing what it's doing, woohoo, we're going to have a coupe class again over here anyway. I know, I ate all the fun. I did eat them all. I was eating all the popsicles out here. Nobody knew it. JB, yes. JB says, wait a second, is that an old turbo dyno up on the shelf? 100%, buddy. When you're here this week, you have to come in here. My good friend, Anthony, we call him Purple around here. I'm sure he'll be here this weekend. He gave me a bunch of old stuff, like that coupe here, that. I got an old power supply. I got a bunch of old stuff from him, where he used to race up at Moni, and he gave me that stuff. So he gave me all that stuff, and I built him a mini mod. His first mini mod I built him when we were racing him all the time, and he gave me that. So I'm very appreciative for it. It's one of them things that I'll never use, but I enjoy it. So, but yeah, so. Yeah, that's, guys, I mean, they're just, like I say, it's about a community. It's about, I think Joe said it earlier, it's about camaraderie. And I've found those of you that are newer to the hobby, the more you get out, the more you get to know them. I was stuck at my track for about 2 years, not knowing anything and not understanding. And then we went on the Hell Tour one year with mini mods. Brad allowed us in, and we had a really good time. And then I started going other places and started seeing other tracks. And a lot of it was in the winter. I would go to, we'll say, I go to PT's. Was a big one for me. And we go down there, race minis, hang out, and just the more you're around, the more guys are willing to talk, the more guys are willing to help. They're more willing to see that you're trying to make it better for yourself and others. So that's how that works. So make sure you guys get out to other tracks. That's why I talk about other tracks. Guys, I would love everybody in Illinois to come to Kempton and race on a weekend. I understand that. I was just looking at stats earlier, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. So 5-star, Leisure, Jacksonville. What do we think? If we were, and I'm going to pick Brad's because his is kind of probably the most centrally located. If we were all to go to Brad's last weekend, you would have had 300 cars there almost. I'm not saying that needs to happen. I'm just saying there's a pretty good community of cars still, right? And guys, Scuba says, got to help each other. 100%. We went to Leisure High Road this weekend, not knowing what was there. We just went up there to see what was up, and I did the same thing to Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville's been around a lot longer, and people have talked about Jacksonville. Same. I go down to Brad's, the same, just to see what's going on. Even if you don't race, go see what the surface looks like. Go see what guys are running, how they're doing. Stick a hand out. Who you are, what you're running. Go over to a guy that's running the same thing you are. When he's not busy, strike up that conversation. Hey, what if you're running a buggy street stock, you want to get into a late model or crate late? Ryan says, I tell new people all the time, racing is 99% failure. Only one person wins. It's about learning and building relationships. Plus, if you don't get pissed off once in a while, you just don't care enough to win. It's all part of the sport. Agreed. I've had this one guy here at the track. I don't know, 3 times. He might be on here. 3 times that he's launched his car off of the track, like picked it up and threw it across the yard. At least 3 times. Whether he got crashed or whether it wasn't working correctly, one or the other, threw his car. And, that's frustration. I understand it. But it's also give a shit, right? That's what I call that, the give a shit factor. You give a shit enough or not? Makes a difference. Huge difference. A guy just gets smoked. Probably not the time you'll talk to him. What's up, Adam? Probably not the time to go talk to him. But the reality of it is, at some point, you'll be able to go there and say, hey, hey, Steve, hey, Jeremy, I seen you guys are out here with your B-mods. What's going on with them? I mean, maybe that's something I want to get into. What are they? Oh, was it only twice, Scuba? But maybe that's, all right, love you, babe. But that's how it works. You know what I mean? Do you do that? You go and ask them. I know we were up a high road. I think there's a few guys up there that were interested in B-mods, the 13.5s. That's another touchy situation. A lot of guys don't like the B-mods. A lot of guys think they should only run SC mod. What's up, Wally? What's up, Jeff Johnson? Where are you at, Jeff? I know you're heading to Atlanta. But that's another thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's another entry. So, guys, don't give up on any of it. No different than the mini mod. Everybody, that didn't pick up anywhere, that's fine. We understand that. But we're going to try to loosen them up maybe and put coupe bodies on them and see how they run. Let's just make it turn. These guys own all these cars. This car is the same as that car, but just a different body. So let's just change something and see how it works. Nobody wants this car except for what we're doing it for, right? We being Chad Green, Manny, Izzy, Butch, Dave. I think that was probably the beginning. I know Hammy was involved in there somewhere. Anyway, those guys started this deal way back. It didn't take. So let's start making adjustments. They're going to do something with them. They're going to sit on a shelf otherwise. Let's run them. Adam says, I watched Mike Murphy throw a sprint car 35 to 40 feet at the start of the A mains at Big Bill's. He was being interviewed about the A main, and his car wouldn't start. Engine was too tight, and the main started, and his car went flying. Hey, man, it happens. It happens. Well, I'm glad you made it there, Jeff. Rick says, running in the class you enjoy running in, and I enjoy the 13.5 B-Mod. I tell you what, the 13.5 B-Mod here in Illinois is not as strong as it once was, but we're trying to help it come back. I know there's a few down at Brad's, and I know there's some up at, obviously we had 2 of them, our guys were up there at Leisure, so High Road. So I think it's a valid class because you're still using factory parts. A Are they big and clunky? And yeah, they're an SC truck. But, you know, if they want SC mod to come back around 110, guess what? They need to do something. And I just seen some comments from the Chili Bowl where they're talking about trying to get it back in the big show, the SC, not the 13.5. Yeah, Wally, man, I agree. He says I try to stop people from throwing tantrums. Yeah, but sometimes it happens. You're indoor too, correct? I think yours is indoor. That makes a little bit of difference too, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it's good. But guys, I mean, that's what I enjoy. I just like, I like to see that fire sometimes too. I just did it today. I was working for my mom and I threw a tape measure across the yard. Yeah. Indoor makes a difference, Wally, in my opinion. A lot more people are confined in that area where a tantrum can get a little bit more escalated, affect more people. When you're outdoors, you're a little more spread out and makes it a little bit better, in my opinion. To curb that tantrum, right? To make it not. Now, when the two guys sit next to each other, one of them throws a tantrum, the other one's probably going to jump in it. They're going to feed off each other. But yeah, it's good, man. What's everybody's plan this weekend? Who's going to Layton? Ryan says, or Rick says, you throw a tantrum, you end up having to fix more broken parts. Been there, done that. Everybody has, Rick. Whether it's a big car or a small car. Ryan says, getting whooped makes me want to go home and work harder on the bench. Guys, you know how much work on the bench makes a difference at the track? The other thing is, we'll get off on this tangent. As a track owner, I hear it all the time. We never get practice time. When are we supposed to get better? We can't get practice time. Well, practice time, we never have it. Well, guys, there's tracks open a lot of times with very few people on them. And guess what? That's your practice time. I know it's hard to get here on a Friday. Last Friday we had 4. 2 of them were working on cars for Brad's. One was working on his car just to be working on his car, getting better. And then one was just down here racing just to race. Just to have fun, get some laps in. It was the 4th of July. Those are the days where you get so much better. And the track, everybody says, well, the track ain't the same. Well, no, because you don't have 50 cars on it. We cannot recreate 50 cars going around the track. We can't do it. The cars make their own groove. They make their own pattern. They push the dirt differently. I mean, I could leave the wall out. In my place, I replaced the wall to get on the track. And I could pack it differently. I could always pack it more. Never pack a track with a roller, in my opinion. A golf cart. A smart car I use a lot. That they seem to work so much better than a roller. I pack mine in, and when I do, I could do that to get you more, but the problem runs into you will still not duplicate it what a car will do. So your track is not going to be A-main perfect. It's not. Unless you're willing to go out there and put 1,000 laps on a car to make it A-main perfect in the end. Wally says, speaking of B-mods, late September, my mod race will pay out. Pro mod, Midwest mod, B-mod / modified. So it sounds like down in Henderson, Kentucky, right? I think that's where you're from. They're going to have a big mod race. So that's pretty cool. So, man, it might be a road trip late September. What's the date on that, Wally? Ryan says, I'm sure you do the same thing, but most of us in Central Illinois let people practice and try things as long as they want after the races are done. You get get to test the next time you come back. 100%. Yeah, I don't care. My track's always open. And then you do have A main, right? Then you do have A main conditions. B-Mod's Chili Bowl rules. Okay. Then you do have A main conditions, right? Because you just got done with the A mains. So now you're out there. And yes, we're open to whenever. We're usually bullshitting for 2 hours after we get done racing at midnight. So, but yeah, it's lights are on, it's ready to rip, whatever, 100%. But then again, you can come to a track like this. It's a little tighter than you're normally doing, and it might be a little looser. You can still figure out a lot there for a track that might be in that condition at some point. You never know. Then you can just write it down to what you have. Yes, Rick, eating popsicles, 100%. Yep. Yeah, Ryan says, yeah, and then we'll blow it off in water. Yeah, 100%. I mean, guys, if guys want to put laps in after, we're 100% game. I just want guys to have the best time they can have. I will sacrifice for a guy to have a great time racing. And honestly, probably do it more than I should sometimes. But so, those of you that are local and maybe not even local, you're going to see a lot of the July 12th race coming up next Saturday. So you'll see it on every RC page and buy, sell, and trade page in this area, trying to get not only people but spectators. We do have a Kempton Day event. I don't think it's going to be real big, but we do have that going on at the same time. They got some music and stuff down in the park a block away, and then hopefully we can draw some spectators in. That's something I'd really like to try to work on and maybe work with other tracks a little bit better at is finding out how to get more spectators in just to sit down and watch. How do we make that a bigger production? So, but yeah. Yep, it's good, guys. But yeah, we got plenty of stuff going on. I think July and August, unfortunately, is very hot usually, but Legos will be. Oh yes, they are having. They have a Lego building deal. I think he's bringing all that stuff in. Tommy says the fun of it is the dirt constantly changes. 100%. I mean, go race carpet if you don't want to. You know what I mean? The carpet doesn't change nearly as much as the dirt does. Or high bite, in my opinion. High bite doesn't change as much either. Yeah, they got usually they have a really good Lego display. I assume Vern's still doing that this year. Really cool display. He's got a bunch of that stuff, so I'm sure he's doing that again. But they're going to have some stuff in the park. Honestly, I haven't been involved in it this year, so I don't know too much. But that's going on Saturday also. So if you want to come out, if you want to come out at 1, go to that for a little bit, hang out, and then come down. I don't know what they're doing, so I haven't got a flyer on or anything yet. Yeah, keeping up with the track is hard sometimes, Tommy. I agree, and that's the challenge of it. And when a guy says the track owner keeps up on the track, and I agree with a lot of people when they say that, but there's a time when the track, what's up, Monsterman? When the track, it might not be perfect for you. But the reality of it is what it is, right? That's the surface you're racing on with everybody else. Rick says he'd like to see more tracks have controlled practice before the races. Like each class get 2 minutes, allow 5 to 7 cars, and 2 minutes for. So I don't do that now, but if we get a big enough group or something to that amount, yes, that's just a lot of work. But I agree, Rick. It does need to happen. And honestly, guys need to be smarter about that. Ryan's poking the bear again tonight. Speaking of making mini mods great again, they had guys with cars, though. You have to think about that too. You know, if you're running if you have TRX modified, so the Traxxas modifieds out there, a bunch of newer guys out there, you probably don't want to put your sprint car out there with them. You know what I mean? And at some point, PT's does a very quick practice session, in my opinion. Not that it's bad, it's just how they do it, right? And then you got to get right back, make an adjustment, get right back in line. Yeah, Brian, quit that shit. Adulting is for adults. None of us are adults playing with these toy cars. Let's go. The 12, bring the Slash, bring the Buggy, bring the Mini. Let's go. The next weekend, next Saturday. Or plan in August or September. Let's get it. Yeah, that's you know, you got to think about that a little bit. I know. Too bad our body isn't 12 anymore. That's where the problems start. And our eyes and our reaction time, not what they used to be. But yeah, so that's, you know, that's being smart with your car too, guys. Make sure you know who's out there, what's going on. And honestly, here, kind of how I do it is if a group needs it or wants it, then come say something, right? Just say, hey man, can we get sprints? And we'll let sprints run for a little bit. That doesn't bother me any. It's not that controlled on ours usually, but we can make it whatever we need to if you guys feel like that needs to happen. Tommy said that goes both ways. I've seen new guys afraid to put cars on out there with all the fast guys running. Agreed, and probably not the best, right? Not the best thing. So, yeah, my check engine light's on all the time too, Brian. Don, you said that's your situation. Man, you've been around a little while and you're running B-Mod, right? So, when you're running the B-Mod, you just got to get out there with them. All right. Ryan sticks it in there again. Let's go. All right. This is a good topic. How do we work with this? See, so here we got 3 guys talking about this same subject. So the new guy's afraid to put his car out there. Do we run? Is controlled practice a mandatory deal? Do we need to do that? Is that what we need to do? Come on, comments, let's go. We got 20 of us on there. Everybody put something in there. Do we need to have controlled practice, guaranteed controlled practice? What do we need to do? Jeff says, I was always conscious not to put my B-Mod on the track with a $1,500 Sprint or late model. That tank would be broke stuff. Agreed. Tommy says, and those new guys need practice time. By class, for practice time. Matt says, set the scoring system up by class for practice. Brian says, that's because there have been too many fast guys have been assholes when they get caught up with the new guy and discouraged instead of help. That's a double-edged sword. We've been talking about that all night. I think that's a misconception as much as it is very true, Brian. There's 2 sides to that. I think those guys will help them, but I think controlled practice is probably going to help that whole situation. Rick says that makes it run smoother, then yes. Jeff thinks controlled practice is the bigger events. Nick's controlled spec with spec and mod with mod. I agree with that too. Juga says that the carpet oval guys go out on groups of their own. Terry's wanting 2 minutes per class. JB says a controlled practice every foam tire track. I go to cycles between mod and spec every 25 to 30 minutes. Then on each hour, they'll allow 5 minutes for kids and rookies to get their work in. Brian says sprint cars. I get my SC-based cars, they'll get destroyed. And that's it. Brian says it's a weird situation. If it's the guys out there that you know, it's easier when it's guys that are, when it's new guys and they need their own time. Give the novice their own time. I agree with that. Paul says the fast guys should be able to get around the slower guys. And Jeff says I try to run practice with Steve and Jeremy. I know they're, if I got faster, slower. Well, if you run with Steve and Jeremy, you're not going to wreck any more than they wreck each other, Jeff, so that's good. But, and here's the only thing I can say to that comment that Paul put up, and thank you.
You're welcome.
That Paul put up, and that yeah. Sorry, Mama just brought me food. Bumped the tripod.
Oh, sorry.
It just wiggled the thing. Albie says just limit the amount of cars on the track at one time, like no more than 8 at once. Yes, that will happen this weekend, guys, for sure. Brian says you can form a spec line and a mod line alternate every 2 minutes. Not when the still got it. That's my point, Matt. That's where I'm going with this, guys. When the mod guy, when the slow guy doesn't have a line, that's really hard. And I'm going to step way back. So we're just talking about a slash, right? If you get a rookie in a slash 3 stock and you are racing them in competition, they don't hold a line, that's very, very hard. You know what I mean? That's very hard to get around them. Ryan says can be track dependent too. A 10-foot wide groove, I agree with going around when it's a foot wide, it's impossible. Situation change weekly in class. Agreed again. Tommy says, Paul Lee, however, all too often I've seen a fast guy just dump the slower car. That happens, guys. That happens in the late model class, 13.5 crate, whatever you want to call it, all the time. I see it. And those guys are not slow. And just we're trying to figure out why we're talking about slow guys like him. Guys, it is a very touchy situation. Oh, Matt. What did Matt say to do that? Hang on. Oh, doesn't hold a line. Well, that's. Twitch says if you do go out the fast guys, give them room, but try to follow them and see how and where they put their cars. That's another good thing is if you get somebody that's good to decent and you're not good to decent, then you go out there and you try to follow their line as best you can. The closing speed is so fast between quick guys and the ones that are off the pace sharing the track at the same time is hard. One of those enter at your own risk scenarios and open practice. I agree with that too, JB. We've seen it a lot. You know, I seen it last night at Brad's, and no bashing, just telling. A guy is in the infield and he comes out right away, and here comes the closing speed, especially on a mod late model or a mod sprint, is quick. And that guy comes out of the corner or out of the infield trying to get out there, and you're asking for it. Ryan says this issue is hard on track owners. Everyone wants to give racers the most track time. We do, 100% we do, but it is hard. It is hard for us, Ryan. I don't feel like a minute to even 2 minutes is enough to really, for a novice or a lower guy, to really feel how the car is going. Now, mod guys, I see 2 minutes as a lot of time. But if you give the lower level guys 12 minutes and the mod guys 2 minutes, then the mod guys are bitching. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit, because that's what, I mean, they're not getting the same amount of track time. Even though they put in 3 laps to 1 lap of ours, right, of the lower guys. And I say ours because that's where I would be. It's hard. How do we fix it? How do we make that better? And I agree, it's probably track dependent. It's probably day dependent. And then all the negatives get fed back to the track owners and not to the drivers who are being asses. Ryan's correct. How do I want to say this without being a dick? If Tyler Brumai, what's up, Tyler? It's hard to please everyone, no matter what you do. 100%, Tyler, 100%. You're not going to please everybody, but we try to make that, the happy ground. And I'm not bashing on anybody, guys. Don't think that's what this is about. This is about trying to figure out a better way to do it. But as Ryan's comment says, the negative, go to a guy. Go to a guy that is the dick and say, hey, at my track. I'm talking my track. I'm not talking anywhere else because this is how I like to do it. Never, Brian. That's why it's my opinion. So here it is. Go to that guy. If you guys need to come to me as a track owner, and we need to have that conversation, we all three can have that conversation. But go to the guy that's being a dick and tell him in a nicer way than just, you're a fucking dick on the track. Just go to the guy and say, hey man, I'm new, I'm trying, or I'm slower than you, but I'm trying to get around. Maybe that guy's going to end up helping you. I've heard that a guy can drive into a guy and the guy helps him the next day to get his shit fixed. Figured out how to run it. I mean, that happens too. So go to the guy. Instead of coming to us and bitching, go to the guy and say, hey, we could probably, sorry I couldn't hold my line. Maybe he can help you fix that problem. I don't know. Or just say, hey, you're a dick. Why are you being a dick out there? I don't have a problem with that here either. Rick says, I've seen guys go out and run a few laps and then take their car back, work on it, come back out, cut in front of other people, been waiting, and put their car back on the track. I can understand that too. The problem is, just like everything else, policing that thing. Brian says the best thing the guy can do is just hold a line. The fastest guys will get around them. I agree. Do not change your line, because what's going to happen, and fast guys that are on here, now that more and more are on here, faster guys that are on here, do you agree with that? If a guy is holding his line and you have to hang a little bit for a lap and see where he's at, and if he can hold that line, it makes it easier to get around him, obviously, correct? Is that how you would like to see that? Obviously, you don't want him not holding his line, because then he's all over and you can't, you have no option. Don't worry about the cats, guys. They'll be all right. So, but yeah, the cutting in line thing is bad, Rick. Nick says the slower guys get out of the way, enter the corner and not in the straightaway. Ryan says, I'm going to say this, racing in my class, where I'm about past my age and skill level, the thing that pisses me off the most is when a practice line is 30 deep of people. Guys in mods sit up there, run 150 till the battery's dead and never make one adjustment. Jake says, slide up, let the faster guy go to the inside line. I agree with that, Jake. Yeah, I understand that. Ryan, opinions, guys, and I love this that we're getting in a little deeper, and we're going to continue this, and it'll probably come back up at another time where we can get it on RC Underground too. You don't need, day of the race, in my opinion, you don't need, that's not what you need to be doing. Is putting in 150, running a battery dead. Whether you're quote unquote, like Juga said, breaking in tires or not, there's a time for that too. Matt says, let the faster car through and give him a chance to collect the car, and don't try to race him. Most of the time, the faster car has to take a non-preferred line and doesn't have the traction they're expecting to pull away. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think if a guy goes high, usually is probably the better thing, right? If you got a faster car, no different than if you're racing and the leader's coming. It's unless you're on the stand talking to the guy, being like, I've heard it and I've done it many mods. You know, Butch is coming up on me, and I'm like, I know Butch likes to go low, so I'm going to say, Butch, I'm going high. Or if I know a guy likes to be in the middle, I'll be like, I'm going to go low. You know, if you're on the stand. Now, if you don't know the guy, my opinion is higher is better for the slower car. He probably doesn't need as much traction. Jeff Johnson, I agree 100%. Breaking in tires shouldn't happen on race day. It's a serious problem at Limestone with foam tire cars. Agreed. I think there's time to do that. And here's what I'm going to say to that, guys. And like I say, we're going to beat a dead horse at some point because this is all going to come back up. We're not recording for RC Underground, and at some point we will. And we'll talk. Topics have got to come around again. I find a hot one, and that's what we run with. Right now, we're working on 2 hours almost of this podcast. An hour's on theirs, and we got 2 hours on mine. But here's what it is. There are practice days where you can take your car out and you can break them in. I'm not bagging on Limestone at all, but here it is. I've seen heard Limestone practices having 3 cars, 4 cars. No different than me on a Freedom Friday, right? So at that point, when you're out there practicing, the practice is open. The practice is, there's open practice at that time. That's when you can break a tire in. You only have 4 guys out there running around and messing around. Guess what? You only have 4 guys out there. You can run 150 and nobody gives a shit. But if you're going to do it on race day, that's probably a problem. Tommy says he breaks his in on after race night is over, so he'll stay late at the track and break them in. That's a good idea too. Again, we were talking about it earlier. You know, tracks are open later usually, guys, and maybe you have to stay until 1 in the morning. Maybe the race doesn't get over till midnight because we can't start it at 1 o'clock. So maybe it's midnight. Maybe you have to not sleep as early, and you know, maybe run on an hour less of sleep. But that's a sacrifice you have to take sometimes. Rick says, and when practicing don't stop in the middle of the track to make adjustments. Pull off to the side or on the infield. Yes, and that will be strongly enforced this weekend. Guys, we have a pit road that is as long as the track is. Last year, Purple Anthony, he helped me, and he sponsored that, and we built that pit road, and it's amazing. And it works great. Pull your car off the track. It's a mesh. You're not going to get anything else on it. You might get a little dust from coming off if it's drier. Get off the track to do it. It makes so much better. You don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about you tearing your shit up. I don't have to worry about a guy bitching. Just pull it. Brad's is real good because if you have something that doesn't work, yeah, just don't walk. You're right, Weasel. Don't walk on it. I got to put no walking signs. I heard it's a problem. But the other thing is Brad's is good because you pull them in the middle and you can make a controller adjustment, right? You can't really make a physical adjustment, but you can make a controller adjustment. High road, I feel like it's the same way. The only thing I don't like about, and it's just because of communication, and honestly, there's a lot of newer guys up there, which is great. Have your buddy stand there and grab the car. You see it all the time in mod stuff. Have your buddy grab your car, or if I'm watching a race and you need to make an adjustment on your car, just holler at me. I'll walk over there. I stand right next to the driver's stand at High Road, and I can grab your car and hand it to you, let you make your adjustments, or I'll make them for you. But usually I like for a guy to make his own adjustments so he knows what it is, right? At the lower level, at the slower cars. The mod guys have a group of guys that do it. Every track in the Midwest is making adjustments to get guys home earlier. Owners work their butts off. A-main tracks to work on the cars. Tracks to work on cars and tires to get earlier and earlier after the race. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's just it. I mean, there's always, everybody's trying to shorten the program or make it you get home at a better time, which I don't disagree at all. I don't want guys waking up with the sunrise, right? I don't, but it's hard as an owner. My, is it hard. And guys, we do a chip draw here. We will never not do a chip draw in a big race. I'm sorry it takes 15 minutes in between the mains, but I think it's such a fun thing to do, and it adds a little bit more. That one guy, the TQ, he don't know where he's going to be. He can be 5. We do not put the bump in there, so he can be 1 through 5. We usually run 6. I don't know mods. We're going to have to talk about that when the mod guys come out. Once some of you guys get some laps in, we'll talk about what you guys want to run and how many you want to run. But I'm thinking maybe 5 total. So bump 1, 4, and bump 1. But we'll see. You guys we'll work together, guys. I tell you what, I am not afraid to ask that question and ask for help or ask for advice from the guys that know more than I do. And that's how it is. So, but yeah, I think, guys making that deal, making the adjustments, doing whatever. I mean, and if you're practicing and you want to make an adjustment, get down and make your adjustment and get back in line. Unless it's a controller adjustment, you make an adjustment on the track in practice, in my opinion, you need to move on. Make your adjustment, make sure you got everything the way you want it again, and go back up there. Luckily here, there's a lot of stuff. I don't care. I'm glad my wife brought it to me, but I'll warm it up again. So, but yeah, it's part of it, and I agree. I didn't even think about that, Ryan, because I don't have many people come out and want to race after, get laps in after. But a true setup for a main would probably be right there. If you make a big adjustment early in the day here, unless you get out there right after we water it, if you're doing it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're probably not going to have a lot for the first round of heats even, because once the sun goes behind the trees, man, it's getting better. Brian says, I like the trip draw, you drag racer, 100%. Couldn't tell you how many times doing a full invert made. So, Brian, you know me. You know I'm a drag racer. Guess what? I'd cheat that shit. Full invert. Here's what I'm doing. I get say we're running 30, 3 minutes, whatever. Minute and a half, my shit's good. Up, pulling it. It's broke. Oh, damn, I didn't finish. I'm in the back. Oh, damn, I got to invert. That's why I chip draw. I mean, it's a manipulation, but it is what it is. And I guarantee you there's guys that can do it or do it. There's always somebody there, you know what I mean? And I thought about it, and I'm like, guess what? You can't do anything else. You never know. Last big race, Slash got I think it was Max had Slash. He was number 1, and he ended up drawing number 1. I mean, he got lucky. I think he ended up a second in the main, but before the mains, we draw them quick. Everybody's up there. It's a big group of guys, and you're pulling chips. I just like the excitement of it. I like the and then I come in, I switch them out quick, and we're rolling. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard about that too, Tommy. Eldora does a Wheel of Fortune. Misfortune. So, yeah. That's another thing, you know. There's always different ways of doing it, and I enjoy the different types and things and what have you. So that's pretty big for me too, you know, is just trying to make it exciting. I don't want to be like everybody else. The track is not like everybody else. Every track is its own place. Everybody does their own thing, so. But anybody got anything else for me? We're 2 hours in almost, guys, so. Anybody got any parting thoughts? Throw one out there. We'll run with it a minute if we need to. Anybody got anything else for us? We got a good group on here. Thank you for everybody jumping in, hanging out. Ryan says, not having seating rounds makes it better for the track, especially when it's hot out. Saves hours and hours. Not having water constantly to make it equal. I've never done seating rounds, Ryan, and I don't think I will ever. I just don't think it's worth it. Even if you have a shit ton of cars, I just don't think it's worth it. If you resort after the first heat, essentially, in my opinion, the first heat is seating, in my opinion, right? The second heat, you're going to get a better track. You're going to get with a more light group, and you're probably going to get your best hit there, right? 90% of the time. So I'm not saying that's always the best thing, but that's how I see it. I think the first heat is essentially your first is the first qualifier. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can get internet back up here. The cat got the internet for me, so I can see comments again. There we go. Connected. All right. Yeah, Mark. Hey, no problem. Mark, we hope to see you next weekend. Yeah. No seating. Agreed, Jeff. We won't seat here. Like I said, I just don't, and I don't think and I know I kind of see where that's coming from with the Cedar Bluff deal this year. I just think they were trying to do the best they could, and it didn't work out. They thought that was the best. It's like a lot of things, right? We try it, we don't like it, it didn't work, we cut that deal off, and now we're not seating. I think it is good, Mark. I think it is trying to be correct. But in reality of it, and it gives more driver time. I mean, if you were doing a 2-day event, maybe. But, man, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it at a 60 to 100 or 150 car field. Your first heat is your seating. Resort by time. And if you had a bad first one, you had a bad first one. It happens. You better fight your way through it and get your best lap. Get out there and run through lap traffic. But if you make big changes early, you're in trouble anyway. You're not going to, first seating round, you're going to have to be decent enough to get around anyway. So, all right, guys, we're 2 hours in. I'm going to rip. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. We'll continue this. Make sure you go to RC Underground Radio. Put it in. It's about the people, not about the money. Put that in the comments. You know it already. You don't have to rewatch. You'll get entered into the drawing. We'll give away some merch and some tools. And maybe you don't need them, but still go there, support that channel. Click on that to like it. Click on that to grow that channel for Dave, for giving everybody their opportunities. And we'll see you guys on Saturday or at the next time I'm at the track you're at. We'll see you.
Thank you for listening to another great podcast on the RCU radio channel. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends to join the channel for more RC content. RCU Radio. We cover it all.